Trying to tell your story to the world? MailChimp can help for free. I've been a MailChimp user for many years, well before this podcast ever existed. It's what I use for my mailing list, and it's so easy, so helpful. Really does help you get your story out there in your own way. It's very nice. Find your audience. It's cool. They got gorgeous pre-designed email templates. You can also code your own. I've done it. It's not that hard. They'll show you how to send, when you should send, why people open an email, why they click delete. You get those analytics. Really, really helps. They can help you find your people and grow your business. MailChimp can help you tell your story effectively and find the people who care about it. More at MailChimp.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace. With the help of Squarespace, tackling your next move might not be as difficult as it seems. Whether you're hoping to start a business, change careers, or launch a new creative project, Squarespace gives you the ability to create an online platform from which to make your next big idea known to the world. And with Squarespace's award-winning templates, creating your website is simple. It's an intuitive process. I use Squarespace. It's very, very easy. You get in there, you can shift things around. You're just clicking, coding. It's really cool, really easy, really nice, and I feel lucky that I get to use it. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com. Use the offer code CG to get 10% off your first purchase. I'm ashamed to admit I forgot my own promo code. Don't be as dumb as I was. You get 10% off. It helps the show. CG is the offer code at squarespace.com. Hello to everyone. Dealing with the power dynamics in both literal and metaphorical ways. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour. One phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hey everybody, it's Gethard here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. Last week's episode, a lot of fun feedback. It seems that dog got adopted. Pretty cool. I don't know who adopted that dog, but a lot of people in the Facebook group saying they went to check it out. The dog's gone, but they're posting pictures of the dog on the Facebook group. You can check that out. Also in the group, a lot of people say, caller last week, a lot of people say you should have your own podcast. They really like your voice, your intonation. They say they would listen to a podcast of you talking about your recovery. That came up like half a dozen times. That's cool. I really like this quote by Anne. Anne says, OMG, people of BA Facebook. I love this guy. Level of honesty's rare. He's unassuming, compassionate, and so bright. Chris, I love you, man, but you could hardly keep up. I love that you admitted it. You went into babbling mode at a couple points. He was able to listen to you and cut through a lot of it and bust your balls. I would marry this guy. Caller, I wish you speed in your healing. I pray for your strength and health. For you and your girlfriend. Thanks for sharing your life with us. Bless you. I like that was a compliment to the caller and also a semi-insult to me. I do babble, though. Who am I? I'm going to deny it. It's just the truth. We all know that. Now, on to this week's call. This week's call is one of the ones that I had the most fun with in the history of the show, and that's no offense to our past callers. It's just you'll hear. I think I had some tea with caffeine right before we started this one, so I was really up out of my seat, bouncing around, having fun. It's a weird call. First 20, 25 minutes or so, we just talk about the intricacies of public utilities, power grid. I'm into that. It's pretty nerdy. And then it gets more personal, and we start to hear more about this caller and her life. And you'll notice, I just want to say at the end, you'll notice the call takes on a very specific structure. And it just never stops. Jared and I were laughing afterwards. I was I was waiting for her to call me out. And you'll see, it's just, I'm not trying to be mean. You'll see how it goes. But I had no intention of being mean. I was just trying to have fun and be funny, and then it just keeps going and going. And I don't know. I don't know if the caller was focused on her own story and didn't notice, or if she just decided to let me have fun. But I think this one might sound a little meaner than I meant it to be. But man, was I having fun. And I hope you do too. Enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hello?
Who's this?
This is Chris.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's going
Can you hear me okay?
pretty well. Yeah, we can hear you pretty good. How you feeling?
Ah.
Yeah, it's definitely
yes.
It's definitely a little in and out, but we can hear you pretty good.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so I was really surprised to, get on, to be honest, which I guess everyone says that, don't they? But yeah, what I told the producer is that, I was I was just at work and I was like rushing around and I was like, I need to log off like really fast. And like, so I'm now like in my car, just driving home.
You just left work and drove home.
Well, I'm like driving around. I might go back to work probably. It's towards my end of the day anyway.
Okay. But you do work in a job where like, you can come back if you feel like it. And if not, that's cool too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So there's like flexible hours. So like,
nice.
As long as I'm here from like a normal, like during the day, I'm okay.
That's good. That's a good perk. That's nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pretty great company to work for. So like I work at the power grid.
Whoa.
So it's like we kind of control like a large chunk of the electricity that goes on of like our part of the country. So we cover about like 13 states. 13 states?
And you can just get get in the car and drive away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like new, and I'm like, it's not like I'm in like dispatch or anything. So,
mm-hmm. So there's not some chance that because you're taking this phone call, like all of Wisconsin and Upper Michigan won't have power for the duration of this call.
No, they only give me read access. I don't have any any power to control things.
Yeah, because I remember I was in New York in 2003 when the power grid went down.
Yeah, that's brought up a few times. It's like actually the cause of a lot of like regulatory things.
I bet in training that has to be held up as the recent example of like, yo, we can't let this shit happen. This is the exact thing. Can't happen.
Yeah. But it's just I just graduated in May.
Congrats.
And so since this is like, thanks. Not like that big a deal, but since it's like such like a weird kind of situation, like there's not many grids in the United States, I guess. So it's like just a very like complex, thing that like I still cannot wrap my head around.
And you went to Did you go to school with the aim of working in the power grid field?
No.
What were you going to school for?
I didn't really know what I was going to do. I went to school for math, so really you can you can go anywhere.
Now I'm going to tell you something on
my end. You can do anything with that.
I'm going to tell you something on my end.
Yeah, what's that?
From third grade, math has been my enemy from third grade forward.
That's like, you're not the first person to tell me that, so you're not alone.
I was in all the advanced classes. I was in HAP, the high aptitude program, and then simultaneously in special math. No middle ground. For me. All the other classes, I was in the high aptitude program. I got sent on a bus to a different school once a week to be with all the other smarty pants kids. Then I'd come back and I'd be in the remedial math class.
Yeah, it definitely is like it's its own world. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then in college, I found out there was this thing called Elements of Algebra, which if you took that class, that could be your only math class. That was like a math class specifically for people who hated math. But you couldn't, I went to a state school, you couldn't pick the teacher. And I signed up and I got this guy, he must have been about 88 years old. And I still remember his name. I shouldn't say it, although he's almost definitely dead now. But I won't say his name out of respect. And I signed up. I was like, there's just no way I'm going to be able to focus. This guy's ancient. I signed up again the next semester. Got the same guy. There's about 30 people that teach this class. Drop it again. I'm like, what am I going to do here? Also, I'm getting further and further away from high school. I've now been a year since I've even taken a math class. It's going to be harder. I'm like, okay, sophomore year, first semester. I think it was the last time I was allowed to take it. Sign up. Get the same guy again. And now also on a campus where I got to take a bus. Screwed myself on that one. Still had to learn from the ancient dude. Also had to take a bus. Don't like math is my point, yeah.
How many times are you allowed to drop a class?
I tell you, at state school, they really let you kind of fly fast and loose with that. I mean, as long as you get it done before the end, right?
Yeah, I guess as long as you're paying them, right?
Yeah. So a math major, working on the power grid.
Yeah, so it's a little overwhelming because, like, it's a lot of engineers, and although, like, I have math background, it's a whole, like, niche organization that, like, I don't know anything about, so.
Yeah, and do you think you're going to stick with this? It's a long-term career?
Maybe. I mean, I really like the company I'm working for, and the work itself is like pretty interesting. But I mean, I guess we'll see. It's still early to find out what I actually want to do, I guess.
Yeah. And if you were to stick with the power grid, what are the goals with it? Like, what would you like to wind up doing if you climb the ladder there? What if it does go power grid long term? Do you wind up as someone who is a push of a button away from 13 states having a post-apocalyptic meltdown?
Probably not, because that's a very, like, dispatch is their own thing, so they get like extensively trained, but there's like a whole company behind them that isn't necessarily have the push of a button power, but they do have the planning behind it, I guess. But I'm also in like a rotational program, so like I'll like kind of bounce around the entire company and see like what the whole thing's about, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. Figure it out. You're basically saying I'll figure it out.
If I don't make any sense, yeah, if I don't make any sense, let me know, because sometimes it's like hard to explain.
Do you? So you're so right out of the gate in the call, you are warning me that sometimes you don't make sense.
Yeah, I guess.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And would you say this is more because of the nature of your life and the things you anticipate having to explain being complicated, or are you just someone who's kind of on the fringe?
I never thought of myself as someone on the fringe. I think it's just like if I'm explaining my job, it's hard to explain it at a high enough level where it's like understandable without going too deep into the weeds.
Try. How about you go and I'll raise the red flag. On behalf of everyone listening, I'll raise the red flag when it's like I officially don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry, Sally.
I mean, there's like a bunch of different for Sally, that's funny. But I don't know, there's different parts. Like, so I'm like in the transmission group right now. So we're like studying, like outages of like the like power lines. Like, so like the some power lines have to like go out for some reason to like do some work on it and all that. And so we kind of have to see how that affects the rest of the system. And like, so where there's not like physical problems, like, you know, dangerous situations, I guess.
Okay, I'm still with it. I still get it. So take me another layer. Take me another layer deeper. I'll let you know when it stops making sense.
Okay, yeah. So then the other side of that is like the generation of it, like the power plants and like what they do. So they generate like the power, and then they put it onto the transmission system, and the transmission system distributes it out to your utilities. So I guess I don't know what New York would be, what your utility, like whoever you pay your bill to.
Con Ed.
So they knock down the voltage. Con Ed. Yes. I actually did know that because we're really close to you guys, so there's a lot of back and forth. But yeah, so they like transmit it to the distribution companies, knock down the voltage, and then like put it into your house.
Okay, I guess
that wasn't too bad. I could have.
Yeah, I still understand in a basic way. You've got the raw power, and then you need to figure out how to get it safely into someone's home. I get that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't own any of that stuff, though. We just kind of help it along.
And is that a nuclear plant where it starts?
We don't own a nuclear plant, no, but there are nuclear plants like in our zone, in our areas.
Right. Okay. Take me another layer deeper. I want you to get more technical because I'm still with it. The second step was harder to unwrap than the first, but I want you to get even more technical, hands-on. What are the actual buttons you're pushing? What are the actual forms you're filling out? I want to tell you when, to a layman, this makes no sense.
Okay. Yeah, I guess like I'm not used to this because like usually I'm like telling like, you know, like an old high school friend who I haven't seen in a while who really doesn't give a shit, you know? So
right. They're not actively making a game out of trying to flag when it's. Although, because I'll tell you this too.
Exactly.
My father works in science, and for years I've always felt really awful because for years my brother and my mother and I have just mocked him, where he will try to explain to us what he does, and we will say, we don't know what you're talking about, and we refuse to take the time to learn. That has been a running family joke for literally my entire life. And you're someone who also works in a technical. As soon as people hear math, I bet a lot of people are like, I don't care what you do if it involves math. I can't. It stresses me out. You have that against you. So take me another layer deeper here on the actual technical side of working on the power grid.
Okay. So in my department, the department I'm in right now, so you have like a diagram of all this like equipment that is like represented physically. Like, so you have like circuit breakers, transmission lines, like they all like regulate voltage in a way.
Okay.
And then that like, you have to figure out where the power is flowing, and if like there's a break in that flow of power, where it gets directed to, and where like it might affect that exactly. And then like the generators. So if like the generators we can like dispatch generators down or up or various, whatever you need to do to like make sure that everything's balanced. Like, cause you can't really, the supply and demand of power kind of has to be balanced without like causing issues. So that's kind of a delicate, I guess, situation. But there's only so much like storage you have of energy. Battery technology isn't as great as it like could be in the sense. So there's a lot of like real time balancing.
Right.
It's pretty. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I don't I could get so deep into like a different.
Well, I'm going to tell you, because I'm enjoying this game. I don't know if you're enjoying this game, but I'm enjoying it, because I'll tell you this. Here's what I felt like just happened, is that really did start to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but I could feel when it took the shift into you saying, hold on, I need to pump the brakes and say things like, because you really need to check to make sure it's balanced. And that was you doing that for me, for the layman. What's the actual, when you say, because I understand you're saying circuit breakers, you're saying you need to check, where this is stored, make sure that there's not too much, too little. But what's the actual, how would you communicate what you just said to me to an actual coworker who's in the know and has the same breadth of knowledge that you do? Without turning it into a thing of like, this is how I would explain it to a class, if a class trip came here and I'd break it down for them. What's the actual terminology and language you use amongst your coworkers? How would you explain that same situation? The battery technology. How would you talk about that with me, with a coworker, instead of how you just said it to me?
Battery technology. I don't really know like too much about that. That's not really we don't do the actual technology of it, but like otherwise, like all the circuit breaker and the power flow kind of stuff, that's honestly like what I'm extremely overwhelmed with at the time, because like I don't know all those like nitty gritty details that everyone tells me. They're like, oh, do you know what this is? I was like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm like still learning a lot, and like there's ways to like regulate like voltage using like capacitors and reactors and SVC units that are like these fake generating units to like regulate that voltage. They don't actually generate power, but they regulate the voltage and how they can get turned on to help different things. And then there's like overloads on the system. So like if there's too many megawatts of power going into one megawatts,
megawatts and capacitors. Those are two things that capacitor is the one that I'm like, okay, I think capacitor is where I have to say, I definitely can't even at this point. I'm sure there's people out there who can. Capacitor is the first one where as soon as I hear that, I start giggling and think about Back to the Future. I'm like, that's not a real thing in my life. I don't know what a capacitor does. Yeah. What does a capacitor do?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Neither do I. I don't know either. I just know it regulates voltage in some way. And that's like the struggle with like me not having an engineering degree. Whereas like I would have learned all that in school. I just know that if I turn it on, it helps this,
Yeah. Because here's what I'll tell you.
Open it, I should say.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm going to be really honest with you. We're about 15 minutes in, and here's my guess. Is that there are many people listening to this who are confused, but who are appreciative of the fact that you and I are casual and joking around about it. There's many people who are going, I don't understand this, but I bet there is a chunk of nerds that is getting off on this talk about electrical engineering and power grids.
And they're probably like, this girl has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, I would say 98% of these people are like, wow, the power grid, I don't know, I've never thought about this. I don't know what this girl's talking about, battery storage and capacitors and the grid. And then there's 2% of people that are like, get it together. Why aren't you talking about this? Are there like, because I know there's like, are there like this is a backstory, but I know like I once worked at a magazine, and the magazine we would often write about trains, and we'd get these angry letters from these train aficionados, people who knew every train route, the history of every train trestle, who could tell us every freight line that ever ran over any bridge in America. And if we got one thing wrong, they'd send us these angry nerd letters. Are there like electrical engineering power grid nerds? Like, are there people out there who are like really into it? I bet there are.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because like they kind of have to be to like work where I am.
But are there like non-workers? Are there people out there who like follow you guys?
Oh, okay.
Fans.
I don't know. I mean,
I bet there are.
I don't really know.
I bet there are. Because the phone lines too. I know the phones. There was all the phone freaking movement of like people who were figuring out how to manipulate the phone lines. I bet.
Well, there are people super interested in it if they like can make money off of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like developers, like people who construct like these like this equipment, like they're not necessarily like directly involved with like the transmission or generation of power, but they like can make a lot of money off of just building stuff, I guess. Right. I mean, but that's not like an outside person being like, this is so cool, you know?
Yeah. I bet when this comes out, I'm going to get a lot of tweets from people that are like, actually, I'm way into the power grid. I should work there. I know more than she did. I bet there's going to be a bunch of those people.
Yeah.
I bet I'm going to get links to message boards about power grid. I bet I'm going to get links to power grid message boards. I bet there's people out there. I bet there's
I'll keep track of your Twitter and see if I find anything, because I'm curious too.
Ooh, I hope those power grid message boards exist. And I bet they do, because everything exists on the internet. You know what else exists on the internet? It's a lot of products and services that can really enrich your life. And luckily, we have some sponsors here who have such things to tell you about. Enjoy these words, and we'll be right back with more Beautiful Anonymous. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from. Thankfully, for less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers easy-to-follow recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients courtesy of over 150 local farms, ranches, and fisheries across the United States right to your door. And because Blue Apron ships the exact amount of each ingredient required for a recipe, there's no waste. I can tell you, I use Blue Apron, and it's one of my favorite things about it. It shows up, everything is just labeled clearly. They have like pictures step by step, and at the end you've used it all up, nothing wasteful. You cook it, you get this sense, you build a recipe book. It's awesome. It's everything you need to make sustainable, delicious home-cooked meals in 40 minutes or less. Some of the meals coming up in February: cashew chicken stir-fry with tango mandarins and jasmine rice. Get out of here. Udon noodle soup with miso and soft-boiled eggs. I know what you're thinking. I don't know how to soft boil an egg. I don't either. They make it so easy to figure this stuff out. Roasted pork with apple, walnut, and farro salad. And crispy barramundi, might be pronouncing that wrong, with quinoa and roasted carrot salad. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/beautiful. You're going to love it. I love it. I use it. I'm vouching for it personally. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/beautiful. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. The Casper. Happy to tell you all about it. It's an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price. I sleep on one. It's the best. My wife said she's never going to sleep on another type of mattress again. Supportive memory foams create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink, just the right bounce. Time magazine named it one of the best inventions of 2015. That's legit. That's for real. One of the best inventions. Boom. Try Casper for 100 nights risk-free in your own home. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up. They'll refund you everything. That's customer service right there. Casper understands the importance of truly sleeping on a mattress before you commit, especially considering you're going to spend a third of your life on this thing. And again, I sleep on one, and I'm psyched about it. I sleep well on it. Free shipping and returns to U.S. and Canada. Get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting www.casper.com/beautiful and using offer code BEAUTIFUL. Terms and conditions do apply, but you go there right now, Casper.com. The offer code's beautiful. You get $50 off. You get a great mattress. You help this show. There's nothing not to like there. I want to hear more about power grids. I don't know why, but nerdy talks of infrastructure really get me going. Let's get back to this call. I bet I'm going to get links to Power Grid message boards. I bet there's people out there. I bet there's a...
I'll keep track of your Twitter and see if I find anything, because I'm curious too.
Definitely. Now, here's a question, because you're bringing up some things. Here's the thing I've never, ever thought about in my life. Because my whole life, you need to turn on the light, you flip the switch, the light turns on. But there's a whole network of people. Yeah. There's a whole network of people out there making sure my house doesn't burn down when I do that, isn't there? I've never considered that until this moment. Yeah. You're one of these people.
Yeah, and I think, but I was at that same point because, like, I mean, I just started not too long ago, so, like, this is still, like, kind of, like, mind-blowing to me, but, like, obviously the people who've worked there for, like, 10, 15 years are like, yeah, this is my day job. Like, so, like, yeah, I'm still kind of in that, like, it's nuts that this is so behind the scenes that, like, no one notices it.
How much danger am I in day to day? I've never thought about this.
Not any danger. You're fine.
But it is true. Like right now,
I'll make sure of it.
I've got headphones on. I'm in front of a microphone. There's a computer here. There's lights. There's like an endless amount of things just in this room with me right now that if there was a surge, I could be what if someone drops the ball where you are and this power surge happens? What is the effect on the common person just listening right now? Undoubtedly on an electronic device by definition. Every single person here is either at a computer or a phone or in a car. What is the effect if someone on your end drops the ball? What could happen?
Well, the good thing about our company is there's like a lot of like, you know, checks. Like, so it's like, it starts off like about 5 years in advance with our like planning group. So they like kind of are the start of it. And then like, it's all like a time kind of frame. So there's people that look at things like certain months out, then a few months out, and then like a few days out. And then like someone looks at it the day before. And then during like real time, the dispatchers are like, you know, so there's like a lot of, there's a lot of, you know, checks.
Definitely.
I guess. I mean, the only, I think the biggest issue would be like if there's some like unforeseen, you know, event that like would cause something like, I don't know, like something like super unforeseen. Like we even plan for like extremely like extreme weather for like we plan for that too.
Yeah.
But like some really like absurd thing.
All that being said, I do want to know. In a world, and again, we're putting out the caveat, will never happen. People plan months in advance to disrupt any sort of danger to the average consumer of electricity. In a nightmare world where everyone falls asleep at the wheel, whether it's just incompetence or corruption, if all of those fail-safes do break down, what can actually happen if things on your end? What happened? Like, what is the worst thing that could... I just really want to know. And again, you've done a great job of making sure everyone out there listening knows there are far too many checks in place. This is a far too regulated industry for a disaster to strike. But what are the potential disasters? If the aliens come down and they take over, is there what happens?
I mean, if someone was literally falling asleep at like if that. I don't know if things would like black out or if like just like voltage would like spike and like things would spark, you know, like if there's a lot of high voltage, like electricity sparks. So I guess, I don't know.
So homes,
depends on how severe. I really don't know. I mean,
so if there's unregulated energy and it gets to the grid, I could plug in my phone and that thing could fucking explode in my hand and my house burns down. That is a thing that could conceivably happen.
I don't think.
I want to start that rumor.
You know what? Tomorrow I'll go into work and ask.
Well, that does no good for me. I'm trying to get these numbers now.
I'll tweet at you or something like that.
I am. Jared, you know, we have a system set up where Jared, who's the producer, can type questions. He is asking me if you've ever seen the 1986 movie called Maximum Overdrive. I have no idea why. I'm assuming I haven't. He's telling me it stars Emilio Estevez, and I imagine it is about a power grid meltdown. Is that the plot of this? Well, hold on. Sort of. He's saying it's, the machines of the power grid come alive. Maximum Overdrive. Sounds like me and you should watch that.
Yeah, I definitely will now.
Yeah. All right. So the power grid. So what else? What else is your life like? When you're not a mathematician overwhelmed by electrical engineering, what are you doing?
I don't know, it's like normal stuff. Like I don't know. I just graduated, so I'm still like in that like college-y kind of phase, I guess. So
Yeah.
I go to work, and like on weekends I pretend like I'm still in college, and then I go to work on Monday.
You go out, you get fucked up. You get fucked up on the weekends like a college kid. Sorry, Sally.
Yeah, basically. I mean, not fucked up, no, but
Yeah. No, but you're still living.
pretend like I do.
Living the life.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I live in a city. I moved to the city in June, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just doing nothing too exciting, I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. How's the love life? How's the love
I don't
life?
have a better answer.
That's okay.
Oh, that is a hot mess.
Hot mess. Good answer for me. Bad answer for you, and I'm sorry. Good answer for me, because it sounds like there's a lot of things to unpack there.
I mean, I had a boyfriend in college and high school. Same one, but
through all 4 years of college?
Like on and off.
Oh.
And for like 2 of them, I guess. No, yeah, up until like recently, I guess. But then I had him in high school too.
I need some. Hey, this can be whatever you want. This can be whatever you want it to be.
All right.
And if you don't want to talk about this stuff, you don't have to.
Again.
But you know.
No, I will. I'm pretty open about it.
25 minutes on the power grid, and now you're saying there's a hot mess. You kind of mumble something about there's 2 guys, long term.
No, not 2 guys.
I thought you said there were maybe 2 boyfriends only. One guy.
Oh no, one guy. So I started this. So again, with like going too deep into detail, but so I started dating this guy in 2008. So when I was like a freshman in high school, and so we dated on and off, mostly on throughout high school. He went to a different college and then transferred to where I went to school.
Whoa, 4 years?
And then he broke
for
up
you?
With me.
He transferred there for you?
Yeah, basically.
Whoa, and then he breaks up with you.
Yeah, and then he broke up with me, like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the rest of college was kind of like, you know, on and off, and then we both moved after graduation to different places, and, you know, now, like, I think now we're kind of, we realized it was a big nosedive, so there's no point in trying to work it out.
So you dated this guy from when you were 14 until 22? Off and on?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So wait, so that's all of high school?
Friends,
but here's my question, because I dated someone from when I was 17 until I was about 21, and then we would see each other occasionally after that, but we had the slow move on, and it was a mess. It was a mess, and it was that sort of thing of like maybe we're still, maybe, you know, doing the sleep together even after we broke up thing, and then but you've dated someone since you're so young, and it has all these emotional implications to it.
Yeah.
And that was just that was like 3 years of my life. You did that for 8.
Yeah, it was exhausting, definitely.
But it was
good. When it was good, it was good.
Yeah, but here's a question. Do you feel like 14 to 22, do you feel like those years, do you know how to date people, basically? Having started dating one person that young, I remember getting out of that, and I had started dating her when I was 17, and I was single when I was 21, and I was like, everyone else learned how to date each other in this same time. That window of time was when people learned how to just go on dates and not freak out about it. I didn't know. It took me years. to just learn how to be okay with the idea of asking someone on a date, going on a date. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm like becoming more like, since I'm more like accepting of it, I'm kind of just like doing my own thing. And so like, I guess I've gotten more laid back. And so with that, like dating has kind of come more not easy, but like obviously dating's not easy, but like it's less like, not, I guess, nerve wracking. It was like, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk. I don't know what to wear, you know? But now I've gotten kind of like, not necessarily that I don't care, but I'm like, if this person doesn't like me because I, you know, said this or that, and then it's not like worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
But also then I'm like, maybe I should be a little bit more, I guess, not attractive physically, but just like I don't know. Hard to explain. Yeah, but I'm just more laid back, so I guess I'm not necessarily trying too hard.
Right.
But I also don't feel like that I'm not really feeling the whole throwing myself out there and seeing, putting so much effort into it, because I'm still kind of figuring it out. So
I'm going to say something. I'm going to be bold about it.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's fine.
If you listen to the show, sometimes these things go in some directions that you thought you were going to talk about the power good, but when you sign up for this, sometimes Gethard goes some places nobody expects.
Yeah, that's fine. I figured this would happen. I figured, it goes different ways.
Here's what I'm sensing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
This guy, huge part of your life?
Yes.
Ultimately a good guy, and you respect that?
Yeah.
You don't want to speak ill of him because you do have a lot of love for him, and you know that won't go away because that was your first love?
Yes.
I'm connecting the dots. This guy played some fucking games.
You're hitting the nail on the head, really.
This guy played some fucking games, mess you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're being respectful.
Yeah.
But this guy, when he broke up with you in college, I'm going to be real bold. I'm going to make some real big predictions. This guy started dating other people, but he was stringing you along the whole time, and it wasn't cool. That's my guess.
Yeah, you're freaking me out.
Yeah, because I played that game. Yeah. I played that game.
Huh.
That guy messed you up.
I figured my situation wasn't super, it's not like it's an extreme case. Definitely people have gone through this kind of situation before, so.
It's not, I'll tell you, it's not unusual to get tangled up with your first love. For it to get dragged out for 8 years, though, not cool. 8 years is unusual, I would say. So what, this guy kept making you feel like he might come back to the table?
Yeah, and I think, and I don't blame him for that, because, I think we both kind of, in the end, saw ourselves together. He kind of knew that I was the end result, but, who knows at this point. But I think he wasn't necessarily stringing me along on purpose to just kind of keep me in his back pocket, but, he did that by accident, knowing that, he wanted to be with me in the end, but...
you're being too nice to this guy. Nobody does that by accident! God. So I don't know why I got so passionate. Yeah. I don't know why that got me so angry.
That's
I think
fine.
I'm seeing a little too much of this guy.
He definitely has played too many games, and I definitely I'm seeing that, and it's, even my friends are like, he's a dick.
Yeah, I knew I was going to ask. Do all your friends think he's a fucking dickhead?
No, they never did think he was, though. Same, he just, he changed. 8 years, obviously, people change, so.
Yeah, but if they're asking... Here's the thing. Can I be as bold as I've ever been?
Sorry. Oh, God. Okay.
You're still wondering if you're going to wind up with this guy. You're still...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're still holding out hope. But here's the thing. This guy's doing the thing. This guy's doing that thing where he's saying, I know you're at the end of the road for me, baby. I know that at the end of this, but we got together, we're so young. Are we never going to date other people? But then I bet he's out there dating a lot of other people, and he's making you maybe feel like you need to hold back in the hopes that he'll settle back down. True or false?
Not anymore. There was a point like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we both realized that there was a drastic nosedive, and I really do not foresee anything in the near future. Definitely not, but... again, people change. Who knows? I'm not holding out hope. I'm not but I don't know.
I'm gonna say something.
I thought you say you're not a therapist, but
I'm not trying to be a therapist.
I didn't come looking for advice, and I think you're psychoanalyzing.
Yeah, you're bringing that up because you don't like what I'm saying, and you listen to the show enough to know that that's going to scare me off from sharing my real opinions on this one. Because Barb has told me.
You're 100% right.
Barb has told me I'm the shrink. You're not the shrink. Yeah, you can't be a shrink. And I'm not trying to be a shrink. I just know. Because I had my mini version of this, and you're pushing 3 times as long. Where I had this relationship, my high school love. We went to the same college. Great girl. We're still friends today. That being said, we messed with each other's heads, and I don't think either one of us feels like that was good or positive or productive. And here I'm gonna give you the harsh truth. And I hope it works out differently. But if you call again in a year, my guess is you would call back in a year, and I bet a lot of listeners are nodding their heads right now, agreeing with me. I bet if you call back in a year, you're going to be like, Gethard, it's me again. First of all, if you want to keep pushing my buttons and talking shit, I'll make those headphones explode on your head because I control the power grid. I am a god. You are but a mortal man. You could say that. But you know what else you're going to say in a year? If you call back in a year, you're going to be like, you know what? Fuck that guy. You were right. That guy was trying to have his cake and eat it too. Or,
yeah, you're 100% right on all the things you said. So
or maybe you'll call back and say we're engaged now. Maybe you'll call back and say we're engaged. We worked it out. I don't know. But this guy played some games, and I don't like it because I get the sense that you're a pretty cool, laid back lady.
Thanks.
No time for game players. No time for game players.
Nope. But no, you're right. Yeah, you're. I mean, and the thing is, the painful thing for me is that I know exactly you're 100% right, and I know you're 100% right, and I've told myself that like a million times, you know.
And your friend here, and every time you guys break up, I bet your friends are like, "I'm glad he was a dick," and then they find out you're getting back together, and they're like, "I guess he's changed. I guess I see that."
Yeah, the complicated thing is
everything.
Like, especially in high school, like, it's like we had all the same friends, and like my best friends are his best friends, and even my old college roommate, like they got really close, like they were really good friends, and so we did. In the middle of that, I really tried to make sure she didn't get like in the middle of everything. She's like a child of divorce.
Yeah, it's hard for him to commit. He's seen too much.
Yeah, she's been really good friends with him, and like all of our friends from high school are also really good friends with him. So it's like, and I don't expect them to like take sides, you know. So that's like the complicated thing. It's like there are a few people that are like, yeah, he's a dick, like, but like there are a lot of people who are still really good friends with him. So
yeah, now.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm playing too much therapist on this one, and I resist that actively. You're a person attracted to math, to logic. You're driven by.
I wouldn't say attracted.
You're talented at it. Your natural inclination, where your mind goes, mind, emotion. That's why I was an American Studies major. It's barely even a real major. You just make it up as you go along. Literally did independent studies every semester. I did whatever I want. Your math, logic. This fits together with this, and that equals this. I'm going to say we're talking about matters of the heart, of emotions, and those don't always match up with logic. And my guess is that at times you have said, if you care about me the way you're saying you care about me, and I care about you the way that I'm saying I care about you, there's no reason for us to not wind up together. It does not make sense. There's not logic there. And I bet that has been taken advantage of.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to
No,
talk.
you're not. You're not.
Trying to talk here. I don't like this. Did he ever cheat?
What?
Did he ever cheat?
No, he just broke up with me every time before that happened.
So he'd have a wandering eye. He'd break up with you. He'd go. He'd live the fast life.
Yeah.
He'd live the fast life. He wouldn't like this other chick as much as you, and he'd come crawling back, and you'd take him.
Yeah. Yep.
Man,
yep.
I'm done.
You nailed it.
I'm done with this guy. I hope this guy is listening, and I hope he hears me saying, bro, I'm on to you, and I'm done with you.
Yeah. I don't know if he listens to the show. Should I?
I hope he does. And I hope he hears all. I hope he hears all Papa Gethard saying, "You gotta stop playing games with my friend here, because my friend, she's a good lady, keeping us all safe from the maximum overdrive."
Yeah. We still talk every once in a while.
I bet you do.
Check in.
I bet some late.
Yeah, we do.
I bet some late night texts, right? Late night texts.
No, just some like, how you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how's your family? Like, I like his family. Like, you know, checking with his family and
stuff
like that. So maybe I'll ask next time.
This guy's making me mad, and I don't know.
If you heard the show on you.
Yeah. I hope he does. I hope he hears every second of it, and I hope he hears me saying, "I'm on to you, bro." Here's a question.
Yeah.
So he'd break it off with you to run around and date other people. Any little flavor of the month floozy that caught his eye. But But then when I know I'm just trying to be funny because I'm a comedian and this is a show and I have to put on a show. But the real question is, when you would date other people, would he make you feel bad about that?
Yeah.
Ooh. So he'd be like,
I don't mean to enrage you so bad.
No, because I remember my youthful feelings. I remember there was another situation I was in, maybe more similar to the one you're in, where I was on your end of things a little bit more. There was a girl who I was really pining for, and I had made that clear to her, and we had maybe fooled around once or twice, but we were never dating. And I remember her once saying to me something. I remember I once started spending my time with another young lady, and this girl I had been pining for a long time for said something that really affected me, and I wonder if similar things were said to you. She said, I don't know, if you date someone like that, could we ever really be together? Would I date someone who would be attracted to someone like that? They pitted me against myself, sabotaged some of my other relationships to keep me on the shelf, so to speak. Do you feel like that ever happened to you? What are you dating that guy for? Why are you dating that type of guy?
No.
Yeah, I've officially made this all about me. So. My bad. I've made this one about me. Sorry about that.
It's a conversation. It's a one-sided conversation.
No, I'm just trying to connect with you here. I don't like seeing you.
Well, you hit the nail on the head out of like 90% of the things you said until that last part. So I think you're doing pretty good.
And I will tell you, there are many people listening who have been through their own youthful romantic struggles and who have maybe because you have to admit there's some emotional manipulation that happened in there. And I don't know, maybe you were playing games with the guy back. Maybe you were, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you were on the receiving end of more than you dished out at the very least. I think you can all tell based on that reaction, I'm about to flip out. Don't go anywhere because you're going to hear me have a meltdown. Everybody always loves when I have a meltdown here. Something that can help with meltdowns is a lot of products and services that make you just realize, my life can be better. Because if you include these things in your life, maybe you don't have to get so emotional and have meltdowns. That was a very drawn-out metaphor to let you know that it's time to take a break here from our sponsors. Thank you to everybody who sponsors the show. Support for today's show comes from Squarespace. As the year progresses, it's easy for some of those New Year's resolutions to fall by the wayside. We all know that. But if you've resolved to take on a new challenge like starting a business, changing careers, launching a creative project, achieving your goals might be easier than you think. Use Squarespace. Squarespace is designed to help you out. Helps you start your business, find your people, make a website that's clean, it's cool, it's used by a wide range of people, musicians, designers, artists, restaurants. Me, personally, I use it. Gives you the ability to create an online platform which you can easily make your own, from which you can make your next move a reality. Squarespace, it's award-winning templates, it's simple, it's easy, intuitive, I can vouch for that, and it's fun. It's fun to mess around and then actually click refresh, see your site actually changed because the things you did, it's all with the click of a mouse. And you don't ever have to install anything, patch, upgrade, none of that, ever. Though, if you do have a question, they got award-winning 24/7 customer support. They help you with any problem. And don't worry, no dumb questions. Doesn't matter if it seems trivial, they're there to help you. So if you need a landing page, a gallery, a blog, an online store, tackle your next move with Squarespace. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com. Enter the offer code CG to get 10% off your first purchase plus a free domain. I am ashamed to admit I forgot to use my promo code. Don't do it. Save your 10%. CG for 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace. Make your next move. Make your next website. The Mysterious Secrets of Uncle Bertie's Botanarium is back for Season 2. Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords returns as Lord Joseph Banks with all new adventures beginning February 1st. In this new season, we rejoin the crew of the Fortitude on their quest to find the source of all pleasure in the world, called one of the best scripted podcasts by the AV Club. Uncle Bertie is a hilarious comedy adventure in the tradition of Monty Python. Jermaine Clement, Flight of the Conchords, a legendary comedy project. You like it, you need a laugh, you go check it out. Find out more and hear an episode for free at unclebertie.com. That's unclebertie.com. I'm going big with the emotions here on Beautiful Anonymous. I'm going to talk real quiet and slow now because that's not what you're about to hear from me. I flip out. On behalf of this young lady, Beautiful Anonymous, let's get back into it. Sounds like you were on the receiving end of more than you dished out at the very least.
I mean, yeah, but I definitely, there were definitely some times where I did some low blows, but not like nothing like specific, but
I want to know
nothing like specific. Like nothing like I don't know. I'm trying to like I like slept with someone like a week after he broke up with me, and then he found out about it, and then he like was like, "How dare you?" And I was like,
Was that the first? Was that the first time he broke up with you?
Yes.
That was the first time.
No, no. That was
I knew it.
Second.
I knew it. So he's already. So he's now. Now I'm pacing around this room in a rage. So he breaks up with you twice because he's got the wandering eye, and then he's gonna get mad at you for being a sexually liberated and free young woman trying to ease that pain. You're allowed to have breakup sex. You're allowed to have your bounce back fling. This guy's gonna tell you. He's gonna say, "How could you do that? Here's how you could do it. Here's how I can do it because you caused it twice. That's how I can.
Yeah.
That's how I can do it. Trying to tell me how to live." This guy's getting me mad. I don't like this guy.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy in general.
Yeah. Oh, he sounds great.
He's done some shitty things.
Oh, yeah. He sounds great. He sounds great. I bet he's really kind to animals and kids. I bet he's great. He sounds like a real great dude. This young punk. And you know what? I'm sure he is a good guy who's going to grow up someday. But I wish that growing up happened before.
Yeah, hopefully he grows up.
I wish that growing up happened before you had to take it on the chin and get your head all messed up and not enjoy your college experience as much as you could have.
Yeah. I still had a good college experience, I'd say. I tried not to let it, get to me in other ways.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm very clearly inserting a lot of my own backstory and pain onto your experience in a way that isn't true and real. Everyone, I know that.
I mean, it definitely wasn't easy, but
yeah.
I think I made the best of it, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Looking back, I guess.
So do all the power grids in the country connect to each other ultimately, or?
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. I know we connect to a few, and I want to say yes. I'm going to say yes, and some Canada too. So
in an emergency, if a grid of a particular region went down, they could tap into the power of another region potentially. Yep. So there's fail safes there where everybody takes care of each other. We interchange. Yeah, we interchange like daily, like constantly too. So there's some coming in and out just by way of like how the power is flowing. Yeah. So with this guy, could you sense when he was about to pull this breakup bullshit? Could you sense when he was about to pull this breakup bullshit? With this guy, could you sense when one of these bullshit breakups was coming down the pike? Could you tell?
Yeah.
Oh, this son of a bitch.
I just think it's so funny, that small interjection of how the power grids are connected.
I mean, I got a lot of questions for you, and there's been two main areas.
Okay, that's fine.
There's been two main areas that we've talked about, Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just thought it was funny. Like another question. I imagine it must be hard to replace the infrastructure. Okay. It must be hard to replace the infrastructure of a power grid. Is this the type of thing that we should be worried about, that if there's not massive technological improvements or updating, that maybe this grid could fail on us sooner rather than later? Like wherever not being fair to the markets, but that doesn't, there's never something where it's like, wow, that's really out of line. Sometimes they're like, well, maybe you should tweak this, this, the way you do this, to make it, more fair, capitalism is working on an industry that works at that level. They keep it competitive. Yeah. Next question. Yeah, because yes. How much of going back to this guy was because the makeup sex was good? No, that wasn't the main driver. No. Really? I would think that's always one of the. It's one of the main. It's still good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but but it wasn't that wasn't the Because everybody knows that makeup sex is the best kind of sex. It's passionate. Yeah, I don't doubt that, but that wasn't the driver. Yeah. Okay. I think the years of time where it was the main driver. I invested this much of my life into this, so I better make it work, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with? Yeah. Are you familiar with? I understand that wind power is becoming a much more, sustainable energy, wind in particular. Do you think that's going to have
Yeah.
You think that's going to have a long-term impact on what we do here, or are the big corporate interests going to try to keep what we have so they can continue making money off it in the way that they know?
Well, I think like corporate interests in terms of like, you know, like normal businesses like for like Walmart, Google, like their corporate interests, I think because the consumers want like that sort of sustainability, like I think they're going to be pushing for renewables as well. But there's also, you know, there's renewables. So we're like independent, we're bipartisan. So we don't like favor this resource over another, just because we're making sure that it's all reliable. Like we don't have it's like skin in the game. So we kind of do what the markets like go to. So like, yeah, we're accounting for the fact that things are getting more sustainable and there's more renewable energy. But we also have to maintain like the reliability of like the grid, which sometimes isn't as easy with renewable energy. So, but I think like it is like definitely pushing that. And I think corporate interests, like in terms of that, are, you know, they have to acknowledge it. And I think a lot of those businesses are like, yeah, you know, people like that concept. I mean, the next 4 years, we'll see how the renewable energy industry goes. But that's, I guess it's technically short term, but.
Next question. Do you feel like other relationships have been affected at the beginning because you're still holding out hope that maybe this guy will come back to the table? Do you feel like it has sabotaged on some level other relationships you've had?
I think I haven't been willing to really dive into any sort of relationship quite yet. Like I've been dating around, but not with the intentions of being serious. But because I think I kind of just need some, you know, some of my own time and like just date around, but not like necessarily like I think I'll be ready to like get into like a more relationship type thing in a little bit, but I'm still just kind of especially just graduating, moving to a new city. I'm just kind of figuring it all out.
Next question. As someone, you do work in the energy industry, do you think our reliance on fossil fuels does it tie into what you do? Things like fracking. Do you see an insider perspective on it that we don't see? Is there debate about this in your community? Are there things you might be able to tell us from the inside that we don't see from the inside?
Yeah, it's hard. So yeah, I mean, it's the problem is like my kind of personal like ideas are a little not like extremely different from like what like we think. Like so natural gas is like such a big driver right now. It's extremely cheap. And fracking is like controversial because there have been studies that like show like that, you know, the water has been affected and like all that. But it does have like really low emissions. Like it's nowhere near as dirty as like coal. But on like the water thing, that's questionable for me because there are some studies that are like, oh, the water is 100% bad. And some studies are like, well, that water was kind of bad to begin with. That I don't have any like say in it. And I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, the water's definitely bad. Like, I mean, I just can't personally say because I don't know, you know, unless I'm like literally, you know, doing the study, I don't know, you know, what's good information, what's bad information. Because, you know, there are definitely some biases on both sides. So I can't tell, but it's something that, you know, is a big driver right now.
Yeah. Next question.
Yep.
What do I have to say to you to convince you to be the one to take agency over this fractured relationship and not sit wondering what this guy is thinking? Because it does seem to me like ultimately one of the drivers has been that he gets to kind of set the terms. And I think you'd feel very empowered and very much more on top of your own life if you were the one who said, I am going to draw the lines from now on, buddy. You do not get to play these games. Your involvement in my life will be defined by me. You have had this massive effect, and I want to be able to retain some sort of respect and love for you. So therefore, I am going to take over calling the shots. I'm not going to sit and wait to see what you do. What do I have to do to make that happen?
I think I kind of have done that in a way.
Oh, that's good then. That's good.
That's what I was talking to him like a few weeks ago, and I was like, I am not talking to you as frequently as you would like. And as frequently as we have, so that's why I haven't talked to him in a long time, just for that reason.
That's good. And is he? Where's his stance right now? Is he still pining for you? Is he? Because you don't live in the same city, you said.
No, I don't think he's definitely not pining for me. He was kind of like, you know, we both really acknowledge that we're in different cities and we've been so shitty in the past that this time around it's been kind of better because we didn't like do an abrupt, like, we're breaking up. Like, it's kind of was like, we shouldn't get together, but we're going to like kind of like see how things go. And then it kind of had an organic downfall. So it kind of, I think that worked out better because we both came to terms with it and it was like a mutual, this isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah. And then being in different cities is definitely better in that sense.
Next question. You've mentioned that the fact that you don't have an engineering degree, while that seems to be the standard in your industry, sometimes makes you feel like you're playing catch up. But are there aspects to your math degree that you feel allow you to bring skills to the table that maybe those engineers don't have?
Yeah, partially, but there are also a lot of math people in that company, so I'm learning a lot from them as well. And there have been instances where I've like interjected and been like, wait, what about this? Like, but those are rare. But I'm also taking like kind of a learning position right now. Like, I'm just absorbing a lot. But I know like once I get more comfortable, I'll definitely, you know, start. I'm one of those people who kind of just sits and like scopes out the scene, takes it all in, and then like if I start getting ideas, it's like you can't stop me. So
yeah, that's cool. Next question.
So I'm just trying to learn a lot. Yep.
How do you think your views on the very concept of love changed due to this relationship? Knowing that someone at the age of 14 thinks of it as one way, someone at the age of 22 thinks of it a vastly different way, and you also had this experience that was pretty tumultuous and emotional. What do you think the long-term effects of this relationship are on your perspectives moving forward when it comes to your love life, which you yourself certified is currently a hot mess?
A technical term of a hot mess. That's a hard question. Oh my goodness.
Take your time. We got 7 minutes. We got 7 minutes left.
That's it? Really? Wow.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah, I have no
Time
idea.
flies
honestly.
when you're talking power grids and love.
Yeah, seriously. My views on love. I mean, I really don't know because I'm still just trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I guess, like, I mean, definitely love is definitely a thing. Like, I have no doubt in that. You know, there's so many, like, there's hope. Oh, I parked really horribly and this woman's trying to get out of her car. But anyway.
Little slice of life moment right there.
But, you know, I definitely think that there's hope for me, but I'm not like in a rush to find out.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It does, and it's a very fascinating answer for reasons that maybe even you don't see yet, and we'll get to that later. But in the meantime, my next question.
Oh, God.
My next
question.
What
do you mean later? It's like 5 minutes left.
Well, then we gotta fly, because here's my next question. For the average consumer like me, do you see average people making mistakes that might affect their electricity bill in month to month in ways that we don't notice? I have been told that electricity is actually extraordinarily cheap as far as what the consumers out there are doing. But are there common things that you now know about that I wouldn't know about that might save me a couple bucks off of the bill?
No. So we do, like, we're on the wholesale kind of side. Like, so I was saying, like, we do, like, the transmission, and then those, like, transmission owners, they knock it down and sell it to your distributor. So we don't like, we don't deal with, like end users.
That's too many steps down the line for you to even have reliable knowledge on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. Next question.
I mean, I could give you like basic, like, turn off the lights when you're not using them, but obviously everyone knows
stuff
that.
we all know. Don't leave your chargers plugged in when they're not connected to a device. Yeah. Next question. Now that you are single in an age of apps, websites, technological ways aimed at connecting people, do you find that to be intimidating, or does it make it easier?
So I'm on the apps. It's just like, it's easy, but it's also like exhausting because, like, it's almost like quantity over quality. You know, you just gotta maybe get someone who's gonna talk to you, and then maybe it works. Like, maybe the date goes well. Like, there's just so many people on it, and it's just like kind of like, just like maybe you'll get someone that you like. I don't know. So it's exhausting, but it's also easy at the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Next question. In 10 years, do you predict that you'll still be working in the energy industry?
Yeah, people have asked me that a lot, actually. I don't know. I definitely would like to stay there for at least 5, just because my program's 3, and then I like the company a lot, so I would definitely want to stay there. But I mean, I guess as things go, I'll figure it out. I think, if I still am if I still like it as much as I do now, then yeah, I can see myself staying for 10 years. But we'll see.
Next question. And I want you to take some time. I want you to take some time. Feel free to do some soul searching and really go honest with this one. Don't react knee-jerk what you think I want to hear, what you think anybody wants to hear. In 10 years, do you think you'll have wound up with this guy?
You're killing me.
You're killing me.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. Part of me wants to say yes, but also right now I'm no, not at all. But just from past experience, I think we always kind of had that in the back of our heads that we'd end up together. But also I'm not counting on that now. Definitely not.
Can I tell you a personal opinion of mine?
Yeah.
It's upsetting to me that that's a vague answer, and I understand that it is because that's the truth.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. And I'm honestly, all joking around, not looking for you to apologize. I just remember being in confusing situations when it came to the world of love. And I know that that's not a pleasant feeling. And I wish that it was firm on your end, because my opinion, as someone who literally doesn't know you and will probably never speak to you again, I think this guy's got bad intentions. But what do I know? I never met the dude. Maybe he's...
Yeah.
Maybe
I wouldn't say bad intentions. It's
a bad mix. I think you need to disconnect yourself from his power grid. Because I think he's got all the power.
Okay.
I think he's got the power in this relationship. And I think no matter how far away you get, these grids connect to each other. And I think this metaphor...
Wow.
I think this metaphor makes a lot of sense right now, so I'm not going to extend it any further.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
I think you need to disconnect from his power grid.
The metaphor.
You need to disconnect from his power grid and find the sustainable energy of your own heart that he has. I think because he is the fracking. He is the fracking, and we're all going to debate how dirty that water is. We're all going to debate how dirty that water is.
Yeah.
But there's solar
and
there's...
I don't mean anyone who's listening, I don't mean to offend anyone on fracking, because I really have no idea what I'm talking about.
I doubt the fracking community is...
Disclaimer.
I doubt the fracking community is on it. But there is solar, wind, sustainable energy of your heart.
Yep.
And
thanks. Thanks.
I hope
But
you get away from
literally, but okay.
I hope you get away from the dirty, burning coal that this guy produces.
Okay.
We got 20 seconds left.
Wow.
What would you like to say in your closing words?
Wow, I don't think I've ever listened to something that's gone up to 20 seconds. But thanks a lot for talking to me. It was wow. I don't know. It's good. Thanks for thanks for being on my side.
Yeah, I really am. I mean it genuinely. I know I've been joking a bunch. I'm on your side in a big way.
Yeah. It makes me feel good that someone is angry for me.
Yeah, because I think a lot of your friends are probably wishing you'd be angrier for yourself. So I'm happy to step up to the plate. Oh, I thought you were off the line already. Caller, thank you so much for calling. Ditch that guy. It's my advice. Ditch that guy. Ugh. Anyway, thank you for calling. Thank you so much for calling. It was really fun. I hope you had fun too. And I hope you don't get fired from your job for just leaving early to tell me about your love life. And thanks to everybody who supports the show and listens. It means a lot. Thank you to some specific people like the Reverend John Delore, Greta Cohn, Jared O'Connell, Shellshag. You want to know more about me? ChrisGeth.com. I got all my tour dates up there too. And CareerSuicideShow.com if you want to know what's going on with my Judd Apatow produced off-Broadway show. If you like Beautiful Anonymous, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. It really, really helps. And I think that's all the business. I hope I get to talk to you someday, maybe next time on Beautiful Anonymous.
Kiss me face to face.
Next time on Beautiful Anonymous, what's it like to be from Kenya or India or be in a country you didn't grow up in and also be bisexual? What? That's all in one episode? No way. Yeah, way. Be there. Beautiful Anonymous. When you get to California, you got to be able to let out a big breath of fresh air, right? That's got to be one of the places on Earth.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Yep.
What's that like?
When I came here, the first thing was, this, I guess, like every person from Eastern Hemisphere will say that the amount of options that you have on the shopping market is, when people say you have the freedom to do what you want, you really have the freedom to do what you want. And I was never scared about what people would think. Like, even growing up, I just say what I feel like. As long as it's not rude, I speak my mind. I just tell what I'm thinking. Over here, you can do what you want. That's why I feel like whatever stuff I'm doing now, I should have done it when I was 15 or 15 to 20 years old.
That's next time on Beautiful Anonymous.
Hey, this is Jason Sklar, one of the hosts of Sklarbro Country, a podcast here on Earwolf that we love doing, and we have a fantastic episode where we sit down with the hilarious Caitlin Olsen. We talk to her about her comedic process. We talk to her about some inside the actor studio, behind the scenes, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia stuff. Here's a clip. Are your kids in karate?
Ours are in jiu-jitsu.
Does Rob take the classes with you?
He would love to. He takes jiu-jitsu, like adult jiu-jitsu. But like for the first 4 or 5 times, he brought his gi and everything in a bag. I'm like, what do you expect is going to happen in there?
We had a blast. I think you'll enjoy it. And you can check it out on earwolf.com, iTunes, or your favorite podcast app. Sklarbro Country. Get into it.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.